Joining us for a conversation is Gregory Beischer. He is the CEO of the premier project generator, Millrock Resouces. Mr. Beischer, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks a lot, Maurice. As always, it's a great pleasure to speak with you.
Well, mutual. So it's a pleasure to speak with you as Millrock Resouces has some important updates coming out of Alaska in the form of battery metals and platinum group elements. Before we begin, Mr. Beischer, please introduce us to Millrock Resouces and the unique opportunity the company presents for shareholders.
Yeah, sure thing, Maurice. Of course, you know, as a shareholder of Millrock, that we're a generative explorer. So we're early stage exploration geologists, and we counter some of the natural risk that's in early stage exploration by always partnering our projects. And so that's what we've done. Last year was quite a building year for us. This is going to be the drilling year. So lots of opportunities going forward. We just put out a press release last week that's sort of a recap of everything that Millrock's got going, and it's quite a long list. But certainly the Nikolia project, a nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum group element project is the new one, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, speaking of that, sir, take us to the Delta Mining District of Alaska. You have a long history there on the Nikolia project, dating back to the 1990s. Tell us more about the new acquisition.
Yeah, well, actually, truly, this is the second time I've staked to these claims, Maurice. You know, as you probably remember, I spent the early part of my career working for Inco. And of course, Inco was at the time the largest nickel producer in the world. And I got to learn quite a bit about the particular types of rocks that are host to nickel deposits around the world. And when Inco moved me to Alaska, this was literally the very first project I worked on. The team that I inherited here had just made some interesting discoveries, and we staked thousands of claims to cover it. And we did the first exploration and the first round of drilling, which honestly was disappointing because we didn't hit the massive sulfides that we were hoping to hit, but rather we did hit hundreds of meters of disseminated mineralization, which at the time could not possibly even be thought of as being feasible for a mining operation. The concentration of metals just much too low, but things are different now, and nickel is in such high demand and will become in so much higher demand that indeed, even at these low grades of mineralization, it may very well be economic. And we're seeing other projects around the world, notably one near Timmins, Ontario in Canada, that's very, very similar geologically and mineralogically. So we think we're on the right track here. And we also think there's still a great potential for discovery of massive sulfides somewhere in the roots of the magmatic system. So in other places on the project, we actually do have very, very high grades. So we know the rocks are capable of producing high value ores. In both nickel and the platinum group elements, platinum and palladium, but also some of the rarer metals like iridium and osmium and rhodium. I know you are partial to rhodium, and we have some exceptional grades of mineralization on this project.
Well, it sounds very compelling, and the timing and the inclusion of the project in your property bank couldn't have come at a better time as the world is looking to go green. Now, to confirm, there are indications that the nickel may be sulfide on the project. If that is correct, what are the competitive advantages of having nickel sulfide?
Yeah, well, certainly we know for sure from the past drilling that the nickel is there in sulfide form. And in other places in the world, lateritic or laterite deposits of nickel occur, and they're a very important source. but the type of mining that has to be done is not necessarily the most friendly. These deposits occur in tropical environments, and they're in the shallow subsurface, so it's necessary to remove the jungle cover, remove the upper layers of soil, mine the valuable material, and then reclaim it all. And, the operators that do this kind of work do a good job, but it does disrupt the forests in these places. And, sulfide mining has some issues too, but in the modern mining world, I think we're very protective of the environment.
Now, what are the goals and expectations that Millrock has?
Goals and expectations for this project, honestly, are up in the air a little bit. We know from the prior drilling that there's nickel there in the ground over very substantial drilled thicknesses. And so it wouldn't take too much drilling for us to be able to outline a bona fide resource of nickel, copper, platinum. It would take a few $1 million, but suddenly we could have a very sizable resource of metal in the ground. So that's a possibility. If we stick rigorously to our chosen business model, as we've always done so far, then we will find a partner for this project. And we're putting out feelers now amongst our network of contacts to see what kind of interest might be there. But it's also possible that we could spin this particular project out into its own standalone company. We're thinking about this. Certainly the project is of high enough quality and important enough that it definitely warrants starting a company if that's the way we choose to go. Of course, people are the most important part of forming a new company, and so that's what we'd have to find.
Now, when can we expect work to begin, and what about news flow?
Yeah, certainly on the Nikolia project, we'll do some reconnaissance type work this year. There's a database of information that we know exists, but we need access to it. That's going to cost a little bit of money, so we'll be working on that. And then I think that the news will start to flow from there on this project.
Now, leaving the Nikolia, Millrock Resources has an extensive property bank throughout Alaska. Can you walk us through some of the property bank and share some golden nuggets with us, if you will, please?
Yeah, sure thing. Pardon the pun. A couple of weeks ago, we announced that Australian junior company Felix Gold has completed successfully its initial public offering. And as part of us selling the projects to Felix Gold, we received nearly 10 million shares of Felix Gold that today have a value of around $1.5 million. We can't sell any of them, and nor do we want to, because we think Felix is going to be spectacularly successful, and that those shares are going to become much more valuable, and that in turn will help move Millrock's share price upwards and reward Millrock shareholders. So drilling is anticipated to start as early as March, and we'll go all the way through the summer and into the fall on 4 different projects in the Fairbanks, greater Fairbanks, Alaska area, targeting gold. And there's some great prospects. It's certainly in the right neighborhood. Gold was first discovered in Fairbanks by Felix Pedro, a prospector 120 years ago now. And they've been mining the superficial gold deposits ever since then. The great Kinross Fort Knox gold mine is in the district. And there's been some recent discoveries that I don't think people realize have been made yet. For example, that made by Free Gold Ventures, which is right next door to some of the ground that Felix will be working on. So we think they have a great chance of success coming, and that's going to make a real financial windfall for Millrock at some point soon.
Any updates on the 64 North project, sir?
Right. Yeah. Very excited about this too. our mutual teams between Resolution Minerals, our partner, who's the manager of the project, and our staff. We've come up with a new interpretation using all the exploration information that Resolution has developed over the last 2 years. And we've got a great prospect to drill. It's called Tourmaline Ridge, and there's some strong gold occurrences and soil anomalies at surface, but it's the geophysics that we've done that's we think helped trace the structure that is known to host gold at the nearby Pogo gold mine over onto our property at this prospect. So it's got a really good chance of exploration success, and so Resolution will go about the business of raising a little bit more money and securing a drill contractor, and then drill the holes later this year. So I really can't wait for that one.
It sounds like I'm hearing a lot of catalysts and a lot of news flow.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we put out that press release last week, and I go through the list of things that we've got going on, and I go, wow, it's like I really think our company should be valued higher than a market capitalization of just around $10 million. But it is what it is. I got to get out and tell people all the great things that Millrock's got going, and that's what I'm doing. And and it's not just Alaska either. We're still very active in Sonora. We've made an agreement there that should see drilling on our copper porphyry project called Batamote. And I think we're going to have other exploration ongoing as well. So you never know, we could hit the big one down there too. So sticking with our model, it's all with funding from other companies earning interest into our project, or with us having a large share position in the funding partner company.
Well, at Proven and Probable, we're delighted to share the value proposition, and we believe in the value proposition. And that also includes my son. I think I've shared with you several times. He is a shareholder. He's actually gotten one of his twin brothers to now become a shareholder as well. So it's
great.
But often you and I've talked about the share price. Yes, I know you've worked hard, and we want to get the share price higher. But if you're a shareholder and you believe in the story, I think we can all go back to some of the ethos that Rick Rule always shares with us. Don't complain when a good company gives you a sale.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to go by on this, Maurice. You look at a 6-cent share price, and man, any of these catalysts could make that double, triple, quadruple in a very short period of time. And if there's real, genuine success, even so much more. So I think the possibilities are fantastic for Millrock, and anyone buying in at these prices is getting a real bargain for sure.
Well, if we look at just the EV business model, or going green as we are going, 5% of the auto sales here recently have been EVs. That's going to grow up tenfold. And if the Nikolia project comes to fruition, as we believe it will be, that is going to definitely move the share price.
Well, I would sure hope so. Yeah.
Well, in closing, Mr. Beischer, what would you like to say to shareholders?
Well, I really think Millrock is a bargain at this price. I encourage shareholders to pick up a few more, or new shareholders to come on board, because we've got a really good chance this year. Like I say, much of last year was putting the agreements together, get everything ready to drill, but this is going to be a big year of drilling on Millrock projects.
Mr. Beischer, for someone that wants to learn more about Millrock Resources, please share the contact details.
Sure. You can just Google Millrock Resources, and you'll get right to our website, and you can find contact information for Melanee Henderson, who does our investor relations work.
Mr. Beischer, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Wishing you and Millrock Resources the absolute best, sir.
Thank you very much, Maurice. Talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.